wasn't clean enough. He needed to make sure it was spotless. He couldn't, though. It was impossible. No matter how hard he scrubbed, the sink was permanently stained. It wasn't bad. The sink was clean and no one in their right mind would hesitate to use it. It wasn't good enough for Mrs. Izuka, though. Kane felt like he was going to cry. He didn't have time to cry. He had to clean the sink. Kane! That was Mrs. Izuka. Kane started scrubbing like his life depended on it. He scrubbed and scrubbed and scrubbed. Why wouldn't these 3 little spots go away? The bathroom door slammed open as a lanky woman in her 30s with midnight-colored hair glared at Kane. "Are you finished cleaning the bathroom yet? It's bedtime." I can't get these stains to come out," Kane stuttered. He always stuttered when he was afraid, which was every time he talked to Mrs. Izuka. The woman walked over and glanced into the sink, and a scowl overtook her otherwise pretty features. "Go to bed, Kane." He took off. Mrs. Izuka hurt Kane. Not physically. Oh no, Mrs. Izuka never once laid a hand on Kane. He got treated the same as everyone else, at least physically. With the exception of how harshly she graded his efforts on his chores, Kane always got the same amount of food as everyone else, the same chores as everyone else, the same bed, the same clothes, the same everything. For that, he was grateful. She was cruel to him in other ways. "What happened to my mommy and daddy?" Kane asked Mrs. Izuka. He didn't want to, but he had to know. And he had nobody else he could ask. "Your parents? They died in the attack by the QB nearly 5 years ago, just like so many others did. At least, that's what the gentleman that left you here told me." Kane started crying. "Oh, hush up, child. There's no reason to cry over that." Really? Really. Your parents, if they had lived, would have thrown you in here regardless." What? Why?" "Why? Because they wouldn't have wanted you, that's why. You're nothing more than a little monster. Now stop bothering me and go play." Kane rushed away, tears and sobs echoing in his wake. Kane stared impassively at the couple standing at the doorway. Most of the other kids were crowding around them, with the exception of a few. They were adopters, here to choose a child to bring home with them. He wondered when they would notice him. He watched as they interacted with several different kids. They seemed like nice people. The man was clearly a ninja, but little Kane couldn't tell how important he was. He didn't yet understand how to tell a Genin from a Jonin. Except Anbu, they were easy. The woman seemed very nice. She was giving every kid she spoke to a gentle smile. She would make a good mother, and Kane thought. At least, he thought. He wasn't really sure what mothers did, but he assumed they had to be very nice and warm. Mothers were warm and gave warm hugs. Kane was sure of it. He knew the moment they made their choice, a small girl, Kyla, the smallest of the litter. The mother's eyes, Kane could tell. She immediately made her decision. She watched the 3 interact for some time, before the woman picked Kyla up, and they asked if she would like to go home with them. The little girl cried tears of happiness as she agreed. The man then noticed Kane. The smile on the man's face was gone so fast it shocked Kane. It was replaced by loathing and disgust. He leaned down to whisper into the nice woman's ear. He didn't know what he said, but he could have sworn he saw his lips mouth demon. The second the woman's eyes locked with his own, he saw pure, unadulterated fear in the lady's eyes. The woman gripped Kyla to her chest, ever tighter as a response. Kane had never lasted this long going unnoticed by the families before they saw him. He enjoyed watching the interactions. The couple turned threesome quickly left the room. Cain wondered if someday someone would walk through these doors and not look at him with those eyes. "You should be grateful. I told the Hokage I would keep you here until your 5th birthday. That was over 4 months ago. I let you stay because of good behavior, but it's time. I can't stand the sight of you any longer. Get out!" And the door slammed in Cain's face. He was homeless. Begging didn't help in the slightest. No matter who he begged to, nobody would help him. No food, no water, no shelter. So he started stealing. There was this stall out in the market square that sold loaves of bread. Every day, Cain would grab a piece of a loaf and tear it off when nobody was looking. He would break it apart into 2 pieces, one for lunch and one for dinner. He never took more than that, though. He felt guilty as it was. Stealing was wrong. It was one of the few things Mrs. Izuka had taught him. Thankfully, she also taught him how to read and write. "Hey, you little brat!" Someone screamed towards him. The stall owner he steals from. Oops. He got sidetracked, and now he'd been noticed. He'd already ripped off the piece of bread in his hands. "So it was you who was stealing from my stall, you little monster. Couldn't even have the decency to take the whole loaf, huh? Rip the piece off so I have to throw the rest away? Every day, letting me know you stole from me? Mocking me, and got away with it. Well, no more." Cain felt terrible. He thought just by stealing a little bit, it would be okay. But he only made things worse. Mrs. Izuka was right. There is no such thing as a small rule breaking. If you broke a rule, even a little bit, you were a rule breaker. The stall owner was right. Cain never managed to steal from him again. He never tried. Trash cans. He may have lost the stealing spot, but he gained trash cans. The stall owner gave him the idea when he mentioned throwing the bread away every day. So Cain became a dumpster diver. He missed the fresh bread. He needed pictures. Mr. Hokage gave him an apartment a couple of weeks ago for his 6th birthday, and he wanted pictures to hang up. Maybe then it wouldn't feel so empty all the time. He knew just the place to get some too. He took too much. He knew he did. He deserved them though. He didn't have anything. Why couldn't he have these pictures? Cain looked at the 24 pictures laid out across the room. There was a knock at the door. He knew who that was. Quickly, he took the closest picture he had and hid it in the closet. "Cain, I know you're in here." Mr. Hokage's voice came from the entrance as the door opened. Cain looked quickly and tried to look inconspicuous and gave Mr. Hokage an innocent face when he spotted him. Mr. Hokage glanced at all the pictures across the room and sighed. "Cain, I know you were the one who robbed the furniture store. You can't just rob places because you want something. I just wanted to have nice things for the apartment Mr. Hokage got me," Cain said sullenly. "Be that as it may, you can't just steal them, Cain. You have to buy them," Mr. Hokage said with a stern look. Cain nodded sadly. "I'll return these to the rightful owner and tell him I took care of the situation. But no more stealing, Cain." "Understood." Cain nodded again. He understood. No more stealing lots of things at the same time. Only a little bit at a time. That way he wasn't caught. Mr. Hokage left not long after with the portraits. He hadn't seen the one that Cain hid in the closet, though. As Cain grabbed the last remaining portrait, he looked at it carefully. It was a self-portrait of some woman Cain did not know, smiling kindly. She had the same look that many of the women that came to the orphanage to adopt had. "I think I'll call you Jane." Cain raised his hand. He was ignored. He kept his hand raised for the entire period. Finally, Iruka-sensei glared at Cain. "Yes, Cain," he asked with frustration at annoyance. What's a chakra? If you don't know, maybe this isn't the place for you. Cain never asked a question again. There she was, his only friend in the whole wide world, Naruto Namikaze. He found out her dad was Mr. Hokage yesterday. What are the odds? His only friend was the daughter of the only person to ever show him any kind of affection. He began approaching Naruto, who was surrounded by a group of other kids. They appeared to be kicking a ball around, having a lot of fun too. Naruto was laughing away. He really liked their laugh. The entire group stopped when they noticed him. Naruto looked suddenly uncomfortable. "Hi, Naruto-chan. Can I play with you guys?" Cain asked wearily. Maybe these other kids could become his friends too. Any friends of Naruto's was a friend of Cain's. "No, get lost, loser," one of the kids said back with heat. Cain recoiled in hurt. "My mommy said to stay away from you. Go away before I call my mommy," one of the girls said. "Yeah, get lost." Cain looked to Naruto, who still had an uncomfortable look on her face. "Naruto-chan?" Cain asked desperately. "Naruto-chan, stop letting them talk to you. You're the Hokage's daughter. You're too good for him." One of the girls screeched. "Yeah, don't talk to him. Naruto-chan, loser." The first boy to insult him chipped in. "Naruto-chan?" Cain nearly whispered. She locked eyes with him. Her face was unreadable. "Go away, Cain." So he ran. He failed. He failed? But he studied a lot. Sure, he was teaching himself at the library, but he studied. Dang it. As he read over his exam markings, he didn't understand. Weren't most of these answers right? Why did he get points off for not enough detail and too vague? He looked at the paper of the person next to him. A very high score. They didn't even answer all the questions. Cain decided he hated Iruka. As Cain sat on the swing outside the academy, he watched parents pick up their kids with smiles and laughs. Why couldn't he have that? Why was he hated and treated like dirt? Why was he struggling to get food every day? Why was he living alone at 9 years old? Had been since he was 6 and homeless before that. Why was he always so alone? Cain started crying and took off running towards his apartment. Once he got there, he told all his woes to the only picture in his apartment. He cried and sobbed and begged towards the picture, towards Jane. Jane only responded with silence. Alright, that's the end of the chapter 7 of Bloodbag by Traydox. It's been a long time since I got back into it. I'm going to continue making some more today. Like, subscribe if you like this video. More fan fictions will be coming up, bro. More chapters. Be smooth, y'all. Peace. God emoji out.